Rufina Cambaceres, the girl who died twice. What if your worst nightmare was real? For Rufina Cambaceres it was. She was 19, she was beautiful, and she was buried alive. Rufina's father was Eugenio Cambaceres, a famous writer. He died when Rufina was just 6, after Eugenio's death. Hippolito Irigoyen became part of Rufina, and her mother lives. Irigoyen was the kind of man who changed the energy of a room simply by entering it. Rufina's mother Luisa was captivated by him. Hippolito and Luisa have a deep friendship, then something more. Irigoyen became a constant presence in the Cambaceres house. For Luisa, he was a companion. For Rufina, who had grown up without a father, he was something she could not quite name. The whispers said that Rufina's feelings for Irigoyen went beyond admiration, that the young woman looked at him in a way that was difficult to explain. There was something in Rufina's eyes when he entered a room that had nothing to do with gratitude. On the morning of May 31st, 1902, Rufina turned 19. It was supposed to be a celebration. The house was full of friends, laughs, and a particular lightness that comes with being young and certain that the best is still ahead. That night, that perfect birthday night, there was a performance at the Teatro Colón. Rufina had been looking forward to it for weeks. She said goodbye to her friends and went upstairs to dress. But before she could finish, there was a knock at the door. A friend who said Rufina deserved to know that everyone else already knew. That Irigoyen and her mother were lovers for some time. After that, Rufina told the household she wasn't feeling well, that she needed to rest. Rufina sat down on her bed, still dressed, still holding the jewels she had been about to put on. And then a deep silence enveloped the room. When the maid went upstairs to check on her, she found Rufina on the floor motionless, her body completely still. Her eyes closed, her lips slightly parted, as though she had been about to say something and the words had simply stopped. The family doctor arrived within the hour. He examined her, and his verdict was swift. Rufina Cambaceres was dead. She was buried the very next day, dressed in her finest jewels, surrounded by family, by friends, by Hippolito Irigoyen himself, standing in silence at the edge of everything, and carried to the Recoleta cemetery. It was a city within a city, where marble angels guard the greatest names in Argentine history, and the silence was absolute. She was placed in the family vault. That night, the caretaker was making his rounds, alone as always with a kerosene lantern swinging in his hand. When he stopped, there was a sound coming from the Cambaceres vault, a sound that had no business coming from a sealed stone mausoleum in the middle of the night. So he ran and raised the alarm. The next morning, Luisa arrived. The workers approached the vault with careful and reluctant hands. What they found made them stop breathing. The coffin had moved, shifted, tilted, as though something had thrown itself against the interior walls. Again, and again, and again, with the force of pure desperation. With trembling hands, they opened the lid and saw. Rufina was face down. Her hands were covered in bruises. Her beautiful 19-year-old face was torn with scratches, and on the inside of the coffin lid, the marks of her fingernails. Long, desperate grooves carved into the wood, splinters embedded beneath what remained of her broken nails. She had woken up in the dark, in a sealed coffin, inside a sealed stone vault, in the middle of the night, with no light, no air, no sound from the world above, and she had fought with everything she had, until there was nothing left. Luisa, the mother who had buried her daughter alive without knowing it, commissioned something the city would never forget. A life-size sculpture of Rufina. In white marble, Rufina would be 19 forever. She stands before a door. The door is half open, and here is the detail that stops every visitor who stands before it. You cannot tell. You will never be able to tell whether Rufina is entering or leaving from the vault. Is she walking into the vault? Into the darkness that swallowed her? Or is she finally walking out? She is neither fully inside nor fully outside. She is Rufina Cambaceres, the girl who died twice,